The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined, as always, by my fellow DeadSec member, The Boy.
Hey.
Series of Two Nerds podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
So, first things first, elephant in the room. You might be expecting a different podcast this date, this time. No, we're done. We're going to talk about stuff that makes us happy.
If you subbed to us for professional wrestling content, I would understand if you unsubbed, because it's not going to be around for a while, at the least. We're going to move on to something that I picked up recently. Firstly, thanks to Gamefly. Well, firstly, thanks to Total Biscuit.
Yeah, thank you, John Bain, because it was your constant crowing about how good this was that got it put on the Gamefly list in the first place.
Yeah, I got a month of Gamefly for $1. They're sending me 2 games, which I hope I get an update Monday. We sent them back kind of late in the week, and I haven't heard from them yet. But they're sending me 2 games for $1, and that's pretty cool. And today, well, this last week, I got Watchdogs 2 and Dragon Ball FighterZ. And both were really fun games. And Watchdogs 2 happened to be on sale on Xbox.
A pretty significant sale, 70% off for the for the gold edition is what they called it.
Yeah, $30 got us most of the DLC, the non-cosmetic stuff, like the actual packs and stuff, and some cosmetic stuff.
Yeah. And so we were like, you know what? We like this game a lot. Why don't we just buy it while it's on sale and send the Gamefly version back? So Gamefly got a sale, but they didn't get the money. Sorry, Gamefly.
I'm not sorry. Y'all did me dirty, but
I mean, kind of. But Dragon Ball FighterZ was also good, just so we're clear. It was a really solid fighter. It was really fun, really enjoyable. As a Dragon Ball fan, I quite enjoyed it.
As a non-Dragon Ball fan, I thought it was a fucking blast. I'll wait until they release a Game of the Year edition with all the DLC included.
Yeah, then I can play Broly. Do my Broly duty.
Fucking Bardock, he looks cool as hell.
Bardock is cool as hell.
But today we're talking to you about Watchdogs 2. Now, you played Watchdogs 1.
I did, and Watchdogs 1, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I will now, and if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry.
We did.
Watchdogs 1 was fun, mechanically. I liked most of the other characters, and I found Aiden Pierce, the main character, to be insufferable to a degree I have trouble expressing. He was awful in every sense of the word. I liked every other character more than him, and it got to the point where in my playthrough, I got to a point where he had done something so heinous, I just walked him into the sea, and in my headcanon, he killed himself.
So I didn't pick that one up just because the guy seemed so much of a drag to be around. Mm-hmm. And like the gameplay sounded kind of interesting, but it
was kind of interesting. It was fun.
It wasn't my cup of tea. The environments are beautiful. I remember watching you play, and that was one of the big things. I was like, man, I'd love to just run around in this game.
Chicago was well made.
And you know, true to form, when I got Watchdogs 2, man, I spent my first couple hours just sort of walking around, peeping on people, you know, with my little Hackerman phone.
Just learning stuff about them, reading text messages, you know, intercepting audio conversations. Watchdogs 2 is, as the Biscuit Bear before us has said, improvement over the original in basically every way.
Yeah.
First off, the main character is great. Secondly, all of the secondary characters are also great. Usually actually a little better than the first game's secondary characters.
Yeah, I like them all. I'm really thrilled about them. The cutscenes are funny. The dialogue feels natural. They do a good job of showing like a range of emotions, and they like touch on. I don't want to say they touch on like difficult issues, but like they kind of do. Like
they touch on serious shit in a funny or very matter of fact way.
Yeah, and it's nice. I haven't done an open world game in a long time like this. I fucked around in Saints Row 3 when we got it for free, and very briefly in Saints Row 4 again when we had it for free. I think the last open world game I seriously played was like this, the Sandbox City game, the Grand Theft Auto clone. Was GTA 4.
Yeah, another game where I stopped at a certain point because it got too sad.
I stopped at a certain point to send it back to GameFly, and this was years ago, back when it first came out. And I learned later that everything after that point was basically a sadness shitstorm, so I was pretty glad that I stopped where I did. Nico could go off into the sunset with his girlfriend. Everything was fine. But you know, you hear about Grand Theft Auto syndrome, right? And if you haven't, it's basically just that urge you get after a while of doing the missions and getting frustrated. You just jump into a car and cause as much chaos as humanly possible.
You break shit, you blow shit up, you do whatever is necessary. It's just like in Grand Theft Auto, you put in a cheat code to give yourself a rocket launcher and go to fucking town.
Oh my god, my favorite cheat code in Vice City was the big tires mode, because the more you put it in, the bigger the tires got.
Right.
So I'd get a golf cart, and like I'd just put that code in, put that code in, until I was basically just driving a giant tire. And because of the physics engine, like the size of the tires has impact on like speed, velocity, lift, I would tap the gas button and suddenly I am soaring across the stratosphere.
But Watchdogs 1 actually managed to do a really good job of preventing Grand Theft Auto syndrome for me just by giving me a bar. Yeah, I know I've mentioned this on the podcast. Apparently all it takes to make me a stand-up citizen is to give me a little bar up in the corner of my screen that tells me how stand-up a citizen I am. I gotta keep the meter full. Watchdogs 2 doesn't have that meter, but it prevents you from doing Grand Theft Auto syndrome, or rather discourages it slightly by giving you other ways to resolve problems besides Grand Theft Auto syndrome.
I pulled out my stun gun just to see what it was like. Didn't care for it. Other than that, I haven't fired a gun in this game. And I'm like not super far in, but I've done probably half a dozen missions to completion. And wandered around the city besides.
Yeah, I mean, I've used my stun gun a couple times just to get a guy I didn't feel like charging over and hitting with my super yo-yo. But it's a stun gun. You know, it's a taser.
Well, yeah, I think it fires rubber bullets.
Or whatever.
But I don't know. I haven't seen someone get hit by him. That's part of the reason I didn't like it. I'm like, well, this is dumb. Yeah, there's just so many unique ways that you can approach a situation. And don't get me wrong, man. I'm all for wanton violence. It's just that...
Yeah, there's a place for Grand Theft Auto syndrome, but the character you're playing doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would be like a mass murderer, and the people you're hanging out with are the kind of people who don't necessarily do mass murder. They're not...
I wouldn't put it past Wrench.
I wouldn't put it past Wrench. But the other guys seem a little more stand-up than that. They want to be a little bit better than that, and it sort of psychologically leans you that way too. I've been remarkably chill in this game. Notably, White has been, instead when people get aggro with him and shoot guns at him or hit him, he calls the cops on them and runs away.
Oh man, the amount of... Now, I have through my actions killed a lot of cops, but if they were better cops in my defense, they wouldn't have gotten killed. Because if I need something that's in gang territory, I'll just call a bunch of cops on them and distract them while I wander over and pick it up. Or if somebody's being a shithead and stuff like that. You know, I also don't even just hack people for money heedlessly. Now, I've gotten a lot more lax about that because I got the perk that tells me when they're going to give me a big payout, and I just follow that. I need money more than that.
Those are rich people. But yeah, like there's even that incentive to, and I got to this point in the first game too, once I had a lot of money, was if someone's making like around about what I make a year or less, I won't steal money from them. I know exactly how much they need that cash.
Well, and like, you know, I'll find people that maybe they have a lot of money, but they like do really nice stuff. They donate to charity and shelter dogs, and I'm like, you're all right. Actually, the big story is before I had that perk, I was looking at a dude who had a lot of money, but he had genital warts, and I'm like, nah, he needs that money for his genital warts cream. This guy's guy's got issues, man. I understand the struggle. Not personally, but, like, theoretically, I get it. So, yeah, I run around with my yo-yo. I play with my, RC car and my... I just today unlocked the drone. That's pretty cool. I take photos on the fucking...
Yeah, you just wander around San Francisco, tagging buildings, calling the cops on dickbags, and playing with your RC toys.
And dress up. I play a lot of dress up.
Yeah.
Gotta look fly.
Dude, that's just you gotta keep it correct, man. You gotta make sure that your look is on point. You gotta change clothes every now and again.
I hit this kiosk I was using as a fast travel station. Because if it's usually my preferred mode of transportation is one of the climax scissor lifts.
Yeah. So in this game, there's a thing where I believe in the first game you could there were scissor lifts that you could move up and down once you could control them. In this game, you can do that and also drive them. So most of the time when I look over seeing him play this game, his character is seated himself in the bed of a scissor lift, and he's just rolling down the street with it.
I got some tunes on, just probably browsing Reddit on my computer while I'm idly controlling the scissor lift. Now that I'm done with the tagging quests, I don't know how soon I'm going to need that again, but I don't know.
The game does not like the scissor lift. He does not want you to be driving that around.
They get kind of upset with me sometimes.
Well, also, the game AI gets confused because one time I took a scissor lift to a thing that was really far away just because I wanted to see what the fuss was about, and I liked the music that was on. So the cops eventually, like, one of them rammed into the back of my scissor lift and then got mad at me for it. To be fair, I was driving a scissor lift on the highway, so that might have been partially on me. I was in the fast lane, too, so the more I think about it, that seems reasonable, actually. But I didn't stop the scissor lift. I just raised it up a bit so that they couldn't shoot me without hitting the scissor lift, and then I kept going, lowering it enough to get past signs and whatnot, and then raising it back up. When it's at its maximum height, sometimes the cops' AIs get very confused and they lose you.
He counted as hidden for almost long enough to escape police.
Yeah, just... I hadn't stopped, by the way. I was still heading to my destination. I was just seated at the top of that scissor lift, and I put it all the way up, and he was like, so high up. He can't still be in there. They just got confused. They got very confused. The game's AI is mostly really good, though. I like the way the pedestrians interact. I like the background talk. That's really fun. All the background conversations, and there must be so many of them because you've played a bunch and I've played a bunch and I haven't heard the same one twice.
I keep hearing the same argument between a couple about how this girl cheated on this guy and he's always mean to her and then he's gonna hit her, and like I have done different things each time. One time I waited and watched and the guy hit her, so I called the cops on him. The next time, I just got between them, but, like, she did not take kindly to that, so she hit me, so I called the cops on her. And then the third time, I got between them, and they just went their separate ways, and all was well. There was actually one time it was pretty cool, was this lady was being mean to homeless people, and I got between them and broke up the fight, and the lady just wandered off. And, I mean, yeah, she shouldn't be mean to homeless people, but I also didn't want to see her get bum knifed. And there was another time these homeless guys were arguing, homeless Larry David and somebody else was like just yelling at each other, and I got between them and they broke up, and I turned around and there's this third homeless guy sitting there with a piece out. He's like, thanks, man. And I'm like, yeah, no problem.
Who knows what Gun Hobo was gonna do? One time I was walking around trying to get my way into gang territory to get this thing I needed for a quest, and I accidentally bumped into this dude, and he, like, that was apparently the last, his last straw.
He went off on you for a long time.
Like, I just stood there as he was, like, shouting at me about, what is this? Is this my life? Am I just supposed to take shit constantly? Am I just supposed to, roll over and take whatever life gives me? Huh? No, it's not acceptable. No, like, he freaked out on me for, like, a solid 2 minutes of stream of consciousness, no repeated phrasing. Then he fucked off. And then, like, he turned around again, because I was walking the same way, and he started yelling at me again, and then I petted his dog, and we were cool.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I'm a dog." The first time I saw a dog in this game, I lost all control of what I was doing, and I ran after it, and I saw I could pet it, and like spasmed and pressed the Y button to pet the dog.
Recently after that, I was trying to exit my little hacker mode. By the way, if you played Watchdogs 1 and you're somehow waiting for my opinion to play Watchdogs 2, they've changed a bunch. The little hacking minigame with the spinny wheels is now in the world, and a bunch of stuff is now way more organic. It takes a little getting used to, I'm not going to lie. But I think ultimately it's a positive change. But I was trying to exit my thing, and I accidentally pressed the wrong button. And it was this dude. I was just standing on the street, so I accidentally popped this dude in like this nice cream suit in the face, and like he looks at me and he just holds up his hands and goes, "It's okay, man. Calm down. Take it easy." And I felt like such a shit afterwards that I ran away.
I love the different attitudes the different NPCs have, because when you're driving around in the scissor lift, like, they yell stuff. Some people are just really fucking mad just to see the scissor lift go down the road. I ain't even got to be in their way. They just be like, "What is this bullshit?" But then some people are like, "This is great. Gotta take a selfie." I just like that I get to experience, both kinds. And just like, man, the NPCs in general. The first day I was playing, I was walking down one of the big financial Castro, near the Castro Theater, I think. And there were these two girls with hula hoops just dancing and having a good time on the street corner, and there was a little bubble machine there blowing bubbles at them, and I'm like, well, that's nice. As with Watch Dogs 1, that I know through you, I think the only improvement this game could really have, like the biggest one, quality of life kind of shit, is to be able to give people money.
Yeah, like a different option to just be like, alright, and give people money. Like, you press a different button, or maybe you press one button and another to confirm, or whatever you had to do to make it nice and intuitive with the rest of the interface. An option to hack people and then give them money.
Or even just like buskers and homeless people, you hit Y to pet the dog, hit Y to give them money.
Yeah, hit Y and you transfer, I don't know, a random amount into their account.
Yeah, just like some single digits or something.
Like, because you don't have a whole lot to do with money in this game. Like, there's some big ticket items, but so far I haven't...
And there's buying clothes.
Yeah, buying clothes is the big ticket item, and then drones are expensive, but I haven't needed to buy guns or anything to get anything done. So you don't really have a whole lot of need for money to complete the game, so I'd like to use some of the money I have to just, make lives a little better around me. And homeless dudes, income zero, homeless vet, I want to be able to, all right, let me just, maybe a little rolly wheel so I can decide how much I give. I got like 10 grand, have 10 grand. There you go. I'll replace that later today.
My brain just kind of overloaded with all the cool shit that this game can do. Yeah, like you said, I bought an ATV and 2 motorcycles. I don't know that I'm going to buy another car.
Yeah,
I bought a bunch of paint jobs.
The car delivery service is better in this version and better in the second game. It was kind of shit in the first game. But to notably, you try not to steal cars, right? You mostly just...
I don't know. I haven't stolen a car yet. I think I briefly borrowed a car, but just to get it out of the way. Actually, no, I didn't even. I used my app. I moved the car with my phone.
Yep.
So now I've stolen a bunch of scissor lifts.
You're the scissor lift bandit.
But those are property of the bad guys, so I don't care.
I've stolen a bunch of cars. I try and if I need a car, I try and pick a really nice one because they got insurance.
Well, also they do handle differently. It's got that really strong Grand Theft Auto 4 style where the cars, depending on their quality and their make, they handle very differently. Even between the chopper and the slightly larger chopper, very different handling.
Like the luggage racks and shit on it?
Yeah, it's got the big front plate. Very, very different handling. And I dig it. I like the fact that there's differences, Yeah,
like regular choppers and, like your Kawasaki style motorcycle handle really differently. I like both. The big ones, they're so They're bad. I don't like them.
See, I like the bigger one because I've got a little more control because of the weight. Mm-hmm. Which that's me in racing games anyway. I play, the bigger cars and stuff like that. I don't like being too slidey, and I don't like not being able to control what I do with my weight. I don't want to flip over 4 times just because I hit an obstacle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the same time, I like the slimmer profile of the motorcycle or the ATV. I really like that actually.
I enjoy the slimmer profile of the motorcycle. Basically, if there's a motorcycle nearby, I'm probably gonna use that. And once I get a little money, once I have enough money to buy a drone, I'm gonna buy a drone, and then the next purchase I make is probably gonna be like a nice motorcycle, and then I'm just gonna use that when I need to get because I walk most places unless they're real far away.
Yeah, I'll take the bus sometimes. The little what do they call those things?
Can you actually get on the trolleys?
Yeah, the trolley. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome!
You can jump up on the side and you can still hack and stuff.
Oh, that's really cool. I did not know that.
There was one day in the game where I just hopped on the trolley and it took me wherever it was going, and I just hacked people I was passing by.
Nice.
Now, Boy hasn't played much of the multiplayer, any at all, actually.
No, I turned it off before I started a new game immediately. I grew very weary of that in the first game, and it had a smaller player base, so no.
I actually kind of dig it.
I don't. I find it very frustrating.
Oh, that's fair, and I'm glad they have an option to turn it off.
Same.
If I was in a sensitive mission and people were being trolly about it, I would love to be able to just go, no, not today. But in general, it's a nice place to get shit done. It gets me a lot of followers. I like seeking for whoever's hacking me. I like hacking somebody from, just behind a berm, and they're going nuts trying to control all the cars around them to figure out where I am when I'm 5 feet behind their bumper. That's cool. I don't know. I dig that a lot. I like running into other DedSec members in the world who are trying to get shit done. Sometimes I help them. Sometimes I stay the hell away from them because I got a helicopter on their asses. But it's cool. I like the music. I like the song sneak. That's a cool way to, get more music.
Yeah, it's a cool way to pace out your soundtrack.
Yeah. And I like, I love the clothing in this game. I like the styles in Vice City and San Andreas, but there weren't a lot of options,
Whereas in this game, there's a lot of options. You can do everything from biker dude to full on Carlton to
Yeah, well, and that's the good thing too, because again in 4, they had 4 basic stereotypes, but there wasn't much you could go without it, In this, you got the major stores. The not Abercrombie and Fitch or Old Navy maybe is more accurate. They got a really high end, men's fashion store. They got a hip hop store. They got a skater store. They got a biker store, and one other one I can't think of off the top of my hipsters. And the indie crowd.
You can mix and match, and it looks really nice.
Yeah, it looks really cool. They also got kiosks throughout the world, where you
tourist shops.
Yeah, tourist shops. I bought a bunch of tie dye really early on in the game. And they got headwear you can use. You can take off your damn hat and glasses if you want. It's cool.
I took off my hat immediately, and I haven't put one back on because I really like how that guy looks without a hat. Mm-hmm. So I don't really like how he looks with a hat nearly as much.
I'm usually wearing a nice hat. I took it off for a little while once, but there's a lot of cool hats in the game. A lot of big, puffy knit hats. And
I got this... Right now I'm wearing, when we got the good edition, I put on the default hoodie because it looks really nice, and T-Bone's pants because they're nice. They look like the kind of pants that a cool hacker guy would wear to me, to be perfectly honest. But I also have this really nice suit with this black jacket with this amazing gold print on it. And sometimes I rock around in that, and I got a couple different looks that I go for depending on where I'm going for my mission. If I'm going somewhere uptown, I put on something nice. You got to blend in.
I just wear whatever I'm feeling,
For the first bit of the game, I literally bought a pair of pants and then didn't buy anything else because I really liked the white A-frame shirt, and the stripped down sort of aesthetic he has when you start the game. You put on some pants, obviously, but aside from that, I really enjoyed the the straight up beginner outfit. It looked really cool and relaxed.
Yeah. But I like that all of those stores you can buy from, and like they've just got so much stuff in terms of like what you can mix and match and look good. You can buy Crocs if you want. I didn't, but you could.
You know, fun fact, the edition we have came with cop outfit,
Yeah.
and fireman outfit and paramedic outfit, and the game told me that if I put on a full cop outfit, I will get unique interactions.
I've picked up a couple pieces of gang gear, and I don't wonder if that might, like, if I get a full outfit, I could, like, ingratiate myself with the one of the local
Maybe
gangs.
that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty sick.
I
Walk into their turf with no consequences. That'd be nice.
I really, really enjoy the small things this game lets you do. Like,
Yeah.
see man making $200,000 a year pretending to be a hobo. I'll just steal all your money and call the cops on you then. Or walking by. I was literally walking by doing something entirely unrelated, and I saw some dude parked across 2 different handicap spaces diagonally. I hopped in his sports car and drove it into the ocean, and then went about my business, and it felt really good.
Soon on my itinerary is checking out the boats.
Sailboats are fun, but they are not very good sailboats.
Okay.
Because either I'm stupid, possible, because it was one of the first. It was like, because when you start the game, I accidentally went to the other side of the bay to get my pants, but just because that was the first fast travel shop I saw, and then so to get back across the bay, I sailed across the entire San Francisco Bay in a sailboat, which was really fun, but you can't actually move the sail.
Oh.
You can't actually like move the jib. So you can unfurl the sail, and you have to catch the wind, and I could not figure out how to get the sail to move back and forth so I could keep going the way I was going and catch the wind. I just had to sort of like keep it angled the way I wanted and kind of zigzag back and forth to catch the wind the other way and go fast and correct my course. It's like, they're really fun though. They feel really cool, and they're quiet, so you can just jam out.
Hell yeah, that sounds nice. And the cool thing, too, is when you're doing all this side shit, it helps. Like, it either gets you, money, and I need that for decals for my car, or clothes, or it gets you followers. Like, that's like another resource to help you get more, to level up, basically.
Followers give you perks, and then, like, you can use perks to buy various different abilities, and like it's basically how you get perks.
Yeah,
I forget
it's
how you did
level
that
up,
in the
basically.
first game. Like, I think it was just experience.
Sure. But that's cool, because then I can go, if I am really, moved by a series of side missions like I was with the tagging, I can go do all those. And it helps me out right then and there. It's not just like you only did this for fun sort of situation. I like doing stuff for fun, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
like, I really love the side missions where you get to hack an ATM and steal, and like that's one of the few missions where you can give money to people who are having a rough time, and that made me feel really good. So I went and did all of them.
Yeah, I've done about half, I think.
And then you get to do not just take money from shitty people, you get to take money and like put them in jail for fraud.
As somebody who used to man a self-check, I get tired of how much people disrespect the machine pointlessly. Like, in this game, too, I appreciate the realism, because these people will walk up to this bank teller, and it's like, hello, welcome to the ATM.
I hate you.
Yeah, like, fuck you, robot. I'm like, what the hell did it do to you? It's got your money. Be nice to it. Why are you banging on bacon?
And then they aren't nice to the robot, so the robot took all their money and threw them in jail for fraud.
Yeah, suck it. But I like all the little complicated, like, rider missions. Like, there's one place, rider, I mean your little RC car or your drone. There's one place I've gone past a couple of times that I was, like, trying to figure out how to get in and do shit. And I was like, nah, I need upgrades. I need to come back here later with upgrades. I've got them now. I don't remember where that place was. But when I get back there again, I'll be like, oh, yes, hold on, let me get my intel over here. And that's awesome. Oh, wow, that's a long time We haven't done that in a while. Sorry if the audio quality just went out. Fortunately, at the end of the podcast, our heater just kicked on.
Yeah, we normally turn that off, but it's so warm that I don't know why the heater's on in the first place. So, I mean, normally we try and run a little over, but it looks like we're going to wrap up just about time, and I'm not going to subject you to the heater more than necessary. Final thought?
Hopefully it's not making much noise. Final thoughts, this is a great game. If you like sandbox games at all, this is the sandbox game with the most direction and most simple, realistic style. It doesn't do that over-the-top, in-your-face kind of dick comedy. There are dick jokes, don't get me wrong, but I like mine a little more subdued.
It's a subtle dick joke.
Yeah, I like it. Like, there's even one point where Josh is just laughing about the word cornhole, and that's good. But, like, it works. I don't know.
The humor from the characters feels very real.
Yeah, it's a genuine game made by Ubisoft or Ubisoft, whatever the fuck they're called, of all people. Go figure.
Startling, really.
Yeah. What about you? Final thoughts, my dude?
Final thought is it's much better than Watchdogs 1. I will probably finish this game. And I'm excited to play more of it, to be perfectly honest. In a way I never was with Watchdogs 1. It was always just something that was entertaining enough mechanically that I kept playing it.
Right on. Well, I believe that's
it.
I call it, my man.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's go!